Christian Family Counseling, compassionate Christian care.
Hello, my name is Elsa Manthey, and I'm a counselor with Christian Family Counseling. I work from Appleton in the Fond du Lac area, and I'd like to talk to you today about stress. And when we're talking about stress, we'll talk about what it is, signs of negative stress, and ways to cope. So, have you ever said, oh, I'm just so stressed out, or I can't handle any more stress today, or I wish I didn't have any stress in my life? But what is stress? Stress has been defined as the body's reaction to a change that requires a physical, mental, or emotional adjustment or response. Psychologist Patricia Lehman says, stress equals your ability to cope. Stress really has been given a bad rap. It was just defined as a reaction. Reactions aren't positive or negative. They are what we do. Stress has been known to be a good motivator. Deadlines seem to motivate people to get things done. Or stress is put into training situations so that when the real thing happens, you're able to cope. To have stress, there has to be an existing stress-causing agent, which we often refer to as a stressor. Natural coping mechanisms to stressors might be fight or flight. We understand the physical fighting concept or running away from something that's dangerous. We can mentally give ourselves positive messages of how to cope with stress, or negative messages like, I can't face this, or this is going to be too hard, or I just won't be able to get through that. That's really putting too much negative stress on ourselves. Emotionally, we can support ourselves by knowing that we have God, through Him we can do all things, or we can become emotionally confused, feeling inadequate, unhappy, and extremely tired just by giving ourselves the negative messages. Have you ever had someone say to you, oh, don't get so stressed out over that? Well, guess what? That's because that particular person doesn't think this is stressful, but for you it is. So find a way to cope. Contributing factors to stress can be your environment, because sometimes we're not living where we would like to live, or circumstances have brought us to a place that we don't want to live. Your lifestyle, and not being able to say no. If you look at the stresses for families today, with activities children are in, activities parents are in, and the demands that a job puts on us, that lifestyle can be very stressful. Our spiritual grounding can be creating a stress because we're beginning to doubt whether God is really with us all the time, or if maybe we're good enough to meet God's demands. That spiritual grounding can be very stressful. Personal issues in your life can also be stressful. Right now, stress in many homes is, am I going to keep my job? Because the job market is a lot more demanding, yet sometimes physically we can't keep up with it. It also can be a stressful thing because many people are losing their jobs or they're losing their investments. Coping styles also vary from person to person. If you are given by God a blessing of being a very relaxed, laid-back person, that one idea of coping is going to be easier for you, whereas for someone who's what we call type A, a lot of things are going to get in your way. Your body can be giving you signs that stress is increasing. Do you have more aches and pains than you do? Don't just push that off and say, oh, I'm just old. Digestive problems can also be a center for indications of stress. Again, it's that change that happens that is an indicator that maybe stress is getting too high. How are you sleeping right now? Do you wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep? Or thoughts racing around in your mind about what you have to do tomorrow and what your job is going to demand of you, and so you don't get restful sleep? Or what about your weight factor? Sometimes we gain weight, sometimes we lose weight just because of stress. Let's take a minute and have you think about your memory. Are you saying, oh, I have to be getting older because I don't remember as well as I used to? Memory problems can be an indicator of stress because we just have too much that we have to remember. Poor concentration. The more that's interrupting our mind, Concentration sometimes goes out the window. Negative thinking. Instead of being positive about the blessings we have and seeing how God is on our side, we can start to look at all the negatives, whether they're political, financial, or just activity-centered. Constant worrying. Some concerns about what I need to be doing and how I need to do it are natural, but when you catch yourself constantly worried about things, you better look at your stress level. Or what about the procrastinating? Things that you used to get done efficiently, now you are putting on the back burner and saying, well, I'll get to them sometime, but you never get to the sometime. These are signs of stress. It doesn't mean that all of these things are stress reactions, but enough of them take their toll. So watch for changes emotionally or behaviorally, and these often are noted by your friends or your family or maybe a coworker before you even see them. Listen when they say, you know, you're more irritable today than you often were. Or do you feel like just isolating yourself? Maybe saying, I'm not going to go out tonight, when you used to like to go out for Friday night with your friends. Or do you not go to family gatherings because you're just too tired or you don't want to have to be bothered by all that social interaction. If you want to measure your stress level, you could go online and look for stress tests. Many places are printing them now online. If you get to a score that says get help or watch out, make sure you talk to someone, maybe speak with your doctor, or if things are getting severe, that is what our counseling agency is for. Remember, stress in itself is not good or bad. The measure is how well are you coping. Please remember that if you are feeling stressed and would like the help of a counselor, you can call Christian Family Counseling, and there are counselors waiting to help.
Christian Family Counseling, compassionate Christian care.